Ever since I put out my video on my cookware collection, I've had many of you ask me how I clean my stainless steel pots and pans to keep them looking so shiny like new. I've also had many of you ask me how I clean my cast iron skillets after I use them. Some of you want to know how I clean the inside of my Dutch ovens to keep them looking so white like new. And many of you have asked me how I would go about seasoning a new cast iron skillet. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I do all these things. Now, there's a lot of different opinions out there and a lot of different methods, but I'm going to show you how I do it because it really works well for me. I'm also going to show you how to do it step by step. Let's get started. Oven really stained, you see? And that's because I washed it really good. I've made a couple of soup dishes in here. And after washing it really well, it's real stained from the bottom. Then look at this one and how pretty this one is. Now this one right here needs to look just like this. Now some Dutch ovens are real cruddy and dirty from the bottom because they need a good cleaning. And then there are some Dutch ovens that the enamel is really worn down from the bottom and you're starting to see the cast iron from the bottom. So this method works really well on the ones that just have regular normal wearing. So I've got 2 quarts of water right here, and I'm going to put some water in my Dutch oven just to about where the stain ends, about right there. So I've got the water up to where the stain is. So then I've got some bleach right here. Now I just pour bleach in there, and I usually put in about 1/3 of a cup. So I'm going to pour it in here just like that. So now I'm going to replace my lid. And I'm going to set it aside over here on my counter. And I'm going to let it sit there all night. And I'll show it to you in the morning. See you then. Hi, everybody. So it's the next day. I've had my Dutch oven sitting here on the counter all night with water and bleach. Now it's time to dump it out. And let's check it out and see what it looks like. So let's go to the sink. See? So I'm going to dump it out. And be careful when you dump it out because remember it's bleach and water. So you don't want to get it all over your clothes. That's why I wear my plastic apron. Okay? Look at that. See? So now I'm just going to put my water in here. And I'm going to clean out the inside. I've got some dishwashing liquid. And you want to wash it really good because it had bleach and water. I never put my Dutch ovens in the dishwasher, only because I'm a hands-on person and I just want to clean it myself. And I just feel like the dishwasher's a little bit rough on them, and you don't need to be that rough on them. So I'm going to clean the outside just in case some of the bleach got on the outside, like this. I'm going to rinse it out. They're big and heavy, so you have to be careful. And that's good. This is beautiful. This is how I like for them to look. So now I'm going to dry it up really good. So here it is. See? So I'm going to dry it up really good. I always dry them really well. You don't want them to just drip dry because then they get stained and I want them to be shiny all the time. So this is my Dutch oven from the inside now. Now remember that if your Dutch oven is old and it's gone through lots and lots of years of soups and so on and so forth, your enamel might be worn down. So even if you do this method overnight, you might still have some gray color in there. And it's not because it's dirty and it wasn't cleaned well. It's just that your enamel is worn down. So you're going to have to be the judge on that. So I have them both. See? Now I'll just replace the lids and I'll go put them away. So now that I'm done with my Dutch ovens, we can get started on my stainless steel. Now this stainless steel skillet belongs to one of my neighbors. I went and knocked on her door and asked her if she had an old stainless steel skillet that was really cruddy and dirty, and I would clean it for her because I needed it for this video. Now, all of mine are really shiny and really pretty because I really baby them and I keep them very clean. And she was a little embarrassed, but I told her, oh, don't be embarrassed. I'll clean it out for you. So she lent me this one. Now, as you can see, it's got a lot of crud on it. See? And there are some that are even worse than this and really dirty. So now I'm going to clean this one out. I think you know that I use Barkeeper's Friend for stainless steel. I love this product. So let's go to the sink. So I'm getting ready to clean my skillet. You see? Now I'm going to be using this stainless steel scouring pad. And these are all stainless steel. So I'm going to get it wet. And then I'm going to put some of my Barkeeper's Friend. Just like this. And I'm going to start scrubbing it really good. And you need to get in here because this crud is in here also. See? Now, because this one is really bad, you know, I'm going to have to really go at it. But if you maintain them real nice and clean, you'll never have to do this. And it's coming off. You see how good this product works? And you get this little part in here too. Get it all nice and shiny. Everywhere. Now I'm just doing the outside for now. And then I'll get to the inside. So now I'm going to put some of this on the inside. And I'm going to do the same. And you don't have to put a lot of water. You see? I just use it like this. So there'll be more friction. And you can get it clean. So I've gotten into the edge right here all around. See? Now let's rinse it. So that's good. Now I'm going to dry it just so you'll see it. So when you all are wondering why my stainless steel pots and pans look so shiny, it's because of this. And this is how I do it. Now once you've done it like this, after that, you just give it a light wash and dry it, and they should stay this way. As long as you don't let all this build up, they should always look like this. Look at this. It looks brand new. See how pretty it is? So that's how I clean my stainless steel. Now this one had a lot of crud. I'm going to show you this one that I have. This is mine, and it's got a copper bottom, and I've been putting it in the dishwasher about 4 or 5 times without using my Barkeeper's Friend, because I wanted it to get a little tarnished so I could show you how it looks when you just put it in the dishwasher. And if you feel it, it feels like it's clean, but it really isn't. See? Now I'm going to give this a light cleaning so you can see how fast this works. So I get it wet. And this works on the copper too. Now I usually have the gold one that's for copper, but I ran out. But this one is good for copper too. So I put a little bit there. So now that I've scrubbed the top layer, I'm going to quit using this and I'm going to jump to this one because I don't want to be that rough on it. And if you think this is a lot of work, well, you can skip it. But then don't expect your pots and pans to be clean and shiny. I'm going to rinse it and see what it looks like. See? Now I'll dry it really well. So here they are. See? See the back? So what I do with this one, because it's got the copper in the bottom, I just rub a little bit of olive oil. Just like that. And then I just rub it with my hand like this. And that'll keep it from getting tarnished so quick. Which is what I usually do with these. And I was going to show you how I clean those, but I might not have time. But I do the same thing with those as I did with this. And then I just rub off a little bit of the excess. And that's it. So now you know what to do. Now we can go to our cast iron. So I'm done with my Dutch oven and with the stainless steel. So I've got 2 cast iron skillets right here. Now this is one of my favorite, and I use this a lot. So I used this morning when I fried bacon and eggs. And I left it just like that so that I can show you how I clean it on a daily basis when I use it, okay? Then this little one is a new one. And I got it yesterday because I'm gonna give it to my neighbor, the one that lent me that stainless steel skillet. Because she said, I don't have any cast iron. I wish I did, but I don't know how to use them and I don't own one. So because she was so nice to lend me that stainless steel skillet, I bought this one. I'm gonna clean it and season it a little bit and then give it to her so she can take off from there. So this is brand new. Now I've got these cards right here, you know. Now this is what I use to clean it with, to scrape it. They sell fancy ones out there, but if you have an old gift card of any kind, you can use it to clean your skillets. So let's go to the sink and let me show you how I do this on a daily basis. So here's my skillet that I used to fry bacon and eggs this morning. See? See how it's all stuck on like that? And it doesn't stick a lot because this is a very good skillet. But it's cruddy and dirty, and I'm going to show you how I clean it when I use it. I use warm water. Just rub those big bits off like this. See? Now I've got this little brush here, and I keep this by the sink because this is the one that I use to clean my cast iron skillets. So I'm just gonna rub it in there really good and just remove all that gritty bacon and eggs. Now, some people say don't use dishwashing liquid. I use dishwashing liquid. I don't use it every time, but I do use it. And it doesn't affect my skillets any because mine are so well seasoned that if I use a little dishwashing liquid here and there, it's gonna be okay. See, that's about all I do to the inside. See? Now to the outside, I like to get a little dishwashing liquid in my hand like this. And then I go at it with a brush, just quickly, in case some of the grease, you know, spilled on the sides. And it doesn't matter what dishwashing liquid I use. I just happen to use Dawn, but it doesn't matter. Just quickly like that. See, and I feel like it's clean from the outside. And that's all I do. So now that I have done cleaning my skillet, I just remove a lot of the excess water like this. And then I dry it on the stove. So let's go to the stove so I can show you how I dry it. See? And I've got my heat set on medium and a little bit lower than medium. Now you never want to just dry it with a towel and then set it aside because the moisture that is there is what's going to bring you the rust. That's why you want to put it on your stove and you want to make sure that it dries up really, really well on your stovetop. Now it's nice and clean, but I always dry it this way and then I oil it. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I've got just a piece of paper towel here and I have a little canola oil. So I get a little canola oil like this. And then I just go all around the inside and the sides on the inside with my canola oil. And it's slowly getting hot. You don't want to crank up your heat because then it's going to get real hot in here and that's what's going to give you wobbly cast iron skillets. So you want to be gentle with it and let it slowly heat from the inside all the way to your edges. And I just rub it lightly like this. Now there's a lot of oil in here. I never have this much oil. But I'm just showing you what I do. See? Just like this. And then I also do it real quickly on the outside like this. On the sides. Real quickly like that. And I set it here. I have this microfiber towel. I use this all the time on my cast iron skillets. So now that it's getting hot, I go in here and I remove a lot of the excess. You don't want it very oily. Otherwise they get real sticky on you when you store them. And then if you have a streak of oil in there because you put too much, it's going to set like that and you're going to have even seasoning. If I use them every day, this is how I clean it. So now I can remove it off the burner and set it aside and let it cool really well, and then I'll store it and put it away. Now I've got my skillet on the stove cooling down. Now I'm going to show you how I season a new one. It says here that it's seasoned, and this is by Lodge. So I'm going to remove this, see? Now, if it says that it's seasoned, why wouldn't you just want to give it a light rinse and then just start using it? Well, I don't like to do that. I like to really clean it out because I don't know where this has been. I don't know who's touched it or what. And I like to remove some of that seasoning here because this is not the seasoning that I like. I like to do my own. But you can just leave it like this and do whatever works for you. I'm going to get it wet like this. See? And then I'm going to use my stainless steel scouring pad. And I'm going to use dishwashing liquid. And I'm going to go in there and I'm going to give it a good scrubbing. Now, if you start reading on cast iron skillets or Google it or whatever, you're going to read all kinds of stories and opinions. And some are going to say, oh, don't do that. Oh, don't use dishwashing liquid. Or you shouldn't use cold water. You should just use warm water. And don't use this or don't do that. It's up to you to decide. I'm just going to show you how I do it. And my cast iron skillets are beautiful. This is the way I've been doing it all the years as far back as I can remember. And I'm just going to share it with you. You see? But Rachel, you're removing all the seasoning. I probably am. I don't think I'm removing it all, but I am removing some of it. And that is what I want to do. Okay, that's good. So now I'm going to rinse it out. Just like that. Now you do want to dry it quickly. You don't want to let it sit there with water because it'll get rusty on you. So I'm going to dry it and I'm going to head to the stove with this one also. So I'm drying my skillet. As you can see, it's still damp from the inside. See, and you don't want any water in here because you don't want to create rust. So I'm going to put it right here on my burner. My heat is set on medium, a little bit lower, and I'm going to let all that water disappear so it's nice and dry. I'm letting it slowly dry up all the way to the top. You don't want to crank up your heat because that's how you get little spinner ones that are all wobbly because you heated it up real quick and it can warp a little bit on you. So just slowly let that heat come up and make sure that it's all nice and dry. It's still cool from the handle. So I'm going to give it just a few minutes until it's nice and dry. I know that my cast iron skillet is nice and dry because it's starting to get hot right here on the handle. So I know that the heat has already gotten up on the walls and it's coming up to the handle. And it's at this time that I'm going to add my oil. So I've got some canola oil right here. I'm going to get just a little bit like this. And very carefully, you want to be careful. You don't want to burn yourself. I'm going to rub it in here like this on the sides and on the top and on the handle. See? And then I'll do it right here on the sides also. Now that's why you want to use that microfiber towel because of all this lint that the paper towel releases, but it doesn't matter. It'll just burn off. See? Ooh. You want to be careful. That's why I have these silicone holders here. I'll put a little bit on the bottom like this because you don't want it to rust. Rub it really well. Put it back on the heat. See? And don't overdo it with the oil. Just lightly like this. And I'm going to raise up the heat just a little bit. About medium high. And I'm going to let it sit like this for just a few minutes. Let it penetrate. I'm going to flip it over. Just like this. So it can get nice and hot from the inside also. And make sure that there's no puddles of oil on the outside. And it's been on medium high. So I'm going to flip it over like this. And now I'm going to set it aside. And I'm going to let it cool down. And I'm going to repeat the process. This iron skillet has cooled down. It's a little bit warm, but as you can see, I can touch it. Now I'm going to repeat the process. So I'm going to put it right here on the burner, and I'm slowly going to let it get hot again all the way to the handle, just like I did the first time. Slowly going to get darker and darker and darker and more beautiful as the time goes by. So my cast iron skillet is nice and hot all the way up the walls and all the way to the handle, because it's nice and hot when I touch it. So I know it's ready for the oil. I'm going to get my canola oil, and I'm going to rub it really good with this again. Now, don't think that you're going to be doing this every single time that you use your cast iron skillet. You're only going to do it like this in the beginning when you have a brand new one. Once you do this process and you season it real well, then you won't have to do this. You'll just do what I did to mine, the one that's setting aside over here. It's cooling down. Just let it dry, remove all the water, and then put a little bit of oil, remove the excess, and set it aside, let it cool, and then put it away. That's it. See? Just like that. And I'm going to let it get nice and hot and let it penetrate in there, because remember, we're building it up. We're building it up. So it's nice and hot. Now I'm going to flip it over. Make sure there's no excess oil out here. I'm going to flip it over. Just wipe it really quick like this. I'm going to turn off the heat, and I'm going to set it aside and let it cool down. And once it cools down, I'm going to do it the last and third time. So my skillet has already cooled down. It's starting to get hot again, and it's building up, and I'm going to do it the third and last time. Now I'm going to flip it over, see? And we're done with our 3-step seasoning. It's not totally seasoned yet at all. All I did was really just hydrate it and give it a kickstart. The good seasoning is going to come when you fry your bacon and your sausage and your pork chops and your chicken and all that. That's where you're going to start building it and getting it really seasoned. So now I'm going to set it aside, and I'm going to let it cool really well, just like that. So I am done with my skillets, pots, and pans. Now do remember, there are a lot of comments out there and lots of opinions on how you should do it. This is the way I do it. And if you like it, you can follow along with it, or you can use your own method. So if you like my video, give me a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, and send me a comment and tell me what you think. Thank you.